What's up, guys? So today I want to talk a little bit about this Motorsport Games, the upcoming patch, as well as something that a lot of people have been doing for some time now, which is comparing iRacing to NASCAR video games, like NASCAR 21. So we're going to start off with the current news, which is there's another patch, patch number 4, which is they're finalizing. It says here, good news. We are almost done with the next patch and targeting release for early next week on all platforms. We will be sure to share the update and patch notes as soon as it's live. Thank you for your continued support. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show you the countless negative responses, right? Obviously people are going to respond negatively, and Motorsport Games has earned that, but I'm going to explain why. There's a couple of things that really bother me. One, it says we'll be sure to share the patch notes as soon as it's live. Why don't they list what they're working on now so we know? Why is it that once they release it and it's live, that's when we get to see this list of things they're supposedly working on or patching? This is going to be patch number 4. And everything we've seen so far, I would say, and I'm being generous, maybe 20% of the things that they've listed have actually been patched. And even the things that have been patched still don't work perfectly. The biggest thing so far that they've been able to change, I would say, is the caution system. But it doesn't work every time. Something like a caution system is supposed to work every time. It's supposed to be predictable, and it's not. And in spite of some people making it seem like, oh, look, they kind of fixed it, it kind of works, it doesn't. Not the way it's supposed to. The pit logic of the AI is horrendous. It makes no sense. When the cautions do come out, you don't know who's pitting, who's not, where you're gonna restart in the lineup. It makes absolutely no sense. They have so many issues that I'm telling you guys, and I've said it from the start, no amount of patches is going to get this game to a playable state. I don't think so. And the biggest issue with this game is the AI, which is nothing has nothing to do with the bugs and glitches. So even if they fix everything, you still got a shitty AI. It's not fun to race those guys. And I've seen people upload content trying to make it look better than it is. You're not fooling anybody. You race the high line and you can pass everybody eventually. The AI is just horrible. But besides not listing the patch notes until it's live, all right, we don't have any idea what this patch is supposed to be patching or fixing. Another huge issue that nobody's talked about, and now we are well past a month from the release date, is the fact that there is no face of the company who has stepped forward, and actually discussed this disastrous launch, this product that has failed miserably. Nobody has stepped up to the community, to the public. The person that's supposed to do that is the CEO. Anytime you see a major problem with any big company, it's always the CEO who steps forward. They are the face of the company. They are there to represent the company. Nothing. We only find things out on Twitter, things like this. They're not talking to the community. They're not. I know it's not fun being criticized, and I'm sure that if and when the CEO would ever step forward to talk about the issues, he's going to get hit with a ton of negativity. That's the way it is. This is why you make the big bucks. This is why you are CEO. You're not there just for the good stuff. You are there to put forth a face to the company when shit hits the fan, when things aren't going well. You've seen it with other companies. You look at Rockstar right now, or Take Two, I should say, and the CEO, Strauss Zelnick. Everybody knows who he is if you follow anything in the gaming community related to Rockstar or Take Two. Why do we know who he is? Why is he so famous? Because whether it's good or bad, he is the face of the company. Nothing. Nothing from Motorsport Games. There's no social media presence. This is it right here. Twitter. There's nobody there to discuss what the problems are, what they're doing about it. That's your job as CEO. It's been well over a month, and this guy is AWOL, nowhere to be seen, hiding from the public. The only time we even heard him say anything was in that investors call to the investors when he bullshitted them and told them that things were better than they actually were. We know now from the stock price it is at rock bottom, telling them, ensuring that they have people who are giving them positive coverage. And we all know who these people are. You can tell. I don't need to go there. I'm not going to go there because that's not what I'm here to do. But this is why I encourage people that no matter where you get your information, no matter who you like or don't like or follow or don't follow, never get your information from just one source. That includes me. Even if you like my content, even if you agree with what I'm saying, go and get information from other sources. Make your brain work for you. Don't just listen to one person and what they tell you and just follow blindly. But back to what I was saying, there is no face of this company that has stepped forward to talk about the disastrous launch, to talk to people and explain what led to this disaster. Why is it that this game is in the condition that it's in? Nobody wants that job. I get it. But there are people who are in high places at the company, namely the CEO or the president, whoever it is. That's why you're there. It's not just for when things are going well and to get your bonuses and a pat on the back from your investors. It's also to represent the company and manage a crisis. If this is not a crisis, I don't know what is for a gaming company. This is your first official product as a company, and it could not be worse. So don't delude yourselves. You can try to bullshit investors, but there is a point where people know that what you're giving them is a box full of shit. We know what's going on. So, what would I do if I was in the position of a CEO or president or whatever the case may be? Well, as tough as it is, I would step forward publicly and explain we fucked up. This is not the product that we were anticipating delivering. Why is this product the way it is? Well, we pushed this product out before it was ready. It takes time. And we should have taken more time. We should have delayed this product. It was not ready. First of all, I would never have released it. But I'm saying I'm here now. I can't go back in time and undo the past, but I could say to people, this is what happened. We fucked up. We did not give our developers enough time to work on the product. We didn't hire enough people. Whatever it is, they know what happened. Tell people. That's all you have at this point. You already destroyed your reputation right out the box. And hiding from the public is only making it worse. It's I can't believe how bad and mismanaged this entire project has been. And all you get is every once in a while you get a notice right here in Twitter, hey, we're almost done with the next patch. It just comes out of the blue. We don't know what the patch is addressing. Are they going to fix the pedals and the clutch? I don't know. We won't know till it goes live. This is patch number 4. When are people going to wake up and realize what's going on here that I've told you guys from the start? There's no magic patch that's going to fix the AI. The AI is going to, we all agreed it was going to make or break the game. The AI is the worst AI I've ever seen in any game. So even if they fix the bugs and the glitches, you're going to get the same group of people coming out making videos trying to show you the game in its best light. That, ooh, look, they fixed this, they fixed that. The game is actually fun. Bullshit. So, moving on from that, I just want to talk real quick about another thing that I've seen a lot of people in the community pushing this idea that iRacing is a comparable product and that, oh, it's, you know, trying to sell you on iRacing. Now, iRacing is a good service, okay? I'm not going to, I'm not here to promote it. I'm not here to dissuade you from joining iRacing. My main thing here is pointing out the reality of iRacing and the reality of these comparisons. And I've always told you guys for years. And now that I've spent about a year, almost a year and a half on iRacing, I can tell you from firsthand experience that they are, in fact, completely different products. You cannot compare a video game to a service for simulation racing. It's just apples and oranges. It's not the same thing. First and foremost, iRacing will never give you a fully fleshed out career mode. The type of things that you get with a video game. That's the whole point of these video games. iRacing is almost exclusively about just racing people online. Yes, there's AI, and you can race these, and it's actually pretty decent racing. You can set your own season and stuff like that, but there's no presentation. There's no organized career. The type of things you see in a video game do not exist in iRacing. It's not meant to deliver that. So when people try to make these comparisons, they completely ignore the career mode aspect of things. And here's the other thing that they I haven't really seen anyone be fully honest about this. I've seen people make these iRacing versus video game NASCAR video game comparisons. They try to sell you on the idea that, well, You're paying a subscription fee, monthly, right? Well, if you buy these video games every year, that's $60 a year. Isn't that like paying a subscription when mostly what you get is more or less a cut and paste rehash plus updated rosters and small additions? And my answer to that is no, it is not the same thing, and I'll explain why. It's not the same to buy a game for $60 every year to paying a subscription fee, which amounts to about, depends, you can get a deal, but deals are temporary. Eventually you're going to pay full price again, but it's like 14 bucks a month. You're going to spend over 120 to 140 to $150 a year in subscription fee. That's not including the cars and tracks that you have to buy on top of a subscription fee. That brings me to the other thing. iRacing is expensive. I don't care what anyone tells you. Don't let anybody fool you. They sugarcoat it. They try to make, well, if you buy this game every year, it's $60 plus DLC, that's another 15, blah, blah, blah. It's not this, it doesn't even compare. This is my other big issue with iRacing. The business model is a double dipping business model. What do I mean by double dip? They double dip into your pocket. One, there's the subscription fee. So you're paying anywhere from 12 to whatever, 14 a month, whatever it is, right? Because you could get a deal, you could do this, you could do that. You're still paying X amount a month, which is a service, just like Netflix or any other service, right? You pay a monthly fee for something and you get everything that service provides. Except with iRacing, you don't get everything with that subscription. The subscription only gets you in the door. On top of paying that monthly subscription fee, you have to pay for every car and track that's additional to what they give you. In the beginning, they give you a certain number of tracks and a certain number of cars. What you get are cars and tracks that you only use very sparingly in the beginning. So if you join iRacing and you want, let's say, an open wheel career and you want to drive Formula One, whatever, there's a path you follow and you have to buy all the additional cars and tracks that pertain to moving up in license to reach that destination of open wheel racing. It's the same thing with stock cars. You want to go the stock car route and eventually get to NASCAR Cup racing, which is what most of us want. You have to buy the cars and tracks that pertain to that, and as you move up and getting your licenses. The majority of tracks and cars you get as part of joining iRacing, you never touch again. All right, look, I can't say that for everyone. I'm sure some people actually go back and do some of those races. I don't. So as you move forward, Xfinity, Cup, then you get every time NASCAR makes a change to the schedule and adds a new track, that's another track that you got to purchase on iRacing. The next gen Cup car came out. That wasn't free. They didn't say, hey, if you own or you purchased a Cup car for A class, you're going to get this free of charge because it's the next Cup car and you have to have it. Or they didn't say you get it for $5 or $6. You get it at a discount because you already purchased the other Cup car, which is going to be obsolete. Nobody's going to be racing that. They could have done that, and that is still, to me, unacceptable, but they didn't do that. Every car is somewhere between 11 and 13 or 14 bucks, depending. That's a lot of fucking money for a skin. That's what it is. It's a skin. People are going to tell you, well, iRacing is a service. A lot of people work hard to update it. And every time there's a new car or track, they have to make it. Well, here's the thing. Unlike other products like let's say a TV manufacturer, if you want to sell a million TVs, you have to build a million TVs. iRacing is not like that. iRacing, you only build one car. You have to code it, you make the skin, and that's it. And every time you sell that car to a different person, all they're getting is a copy of a code. It's a digital copy. They don't have to make the car a million times to sell it to a million people. They only have to make it once. So while I agree that yes, they have to work on it and make this stuff viable. That's part of keeping people in a subscription service, is it not? If Netflix stopped adding new shows and movies, eventually people would stop paying for Netflix because it's like, okay, I've seen everything I've wanted to see. What am I going to keep paying a monthly fee to Netflix and there's nothing new? So it's up to Netflix to continue to produce new movies, new shows, and add other stuff so that it keeps Netflix something that you want to keep paying that monthly fee for. So when you add these cars and tracks and you update the physics model for everything and the tire models, that's part of business. You're collecting a monthly fee from people. You're supposed to keep everything fresh and updated and constantly keep the game, or I should say the sim, uh, you have to keep it going where people want to stay there. That's part of business. But iRacing gets away with double dipping. They charge you that monthly fee and they charge you for every car and track. You're going to spend between five, six, maybe even $700 before you know it. Now, you don't have to get everything in one shot, but eventually it does add up. And if you really want to get to that level of NASCAR, you got to get all the way to Cup, and you want to keep updated with all the cars and tracks. And along the way, you're going to buy cars and tracks that you only use for a short period of time. Excuse me. So I know it sounds like I'm being really negative about iRacing. I'm not doing that. I'm just being honest with you so that you know what you're getting into. So when people make videos or they talk about on social media making these comparisons of why you should go join iRacing, I want you to know what you're getting into. I don't regret joining iRacing. I'm glad I did. I do enjoy it. But it is not all it's cracked up to be. And if you think you're going to go and dominate or just win a bunch of races, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. A lot of the people that participate in iRacing live on iRacing 24/7. They only stop to go take a shit, eat, get a nap. Some of these people actually have jobs, but when they're back home, they're back on iRacing. The more time you spend on something, the better you're going to be. So you're going to be racing people that take this extremely seriously. So if you're like me and you're not somebody who lives on iRacing, but I do some racing throughout the week. If I'm lucky, if I can jump on maybe Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes on Friday. And that's not always like that. That's it. So I'll never be as good as the people that are there 24/7, all every fucking day, every minute of the day. Some people live on iRacing. So you're going to be facing some really tough competition. So my other advice to you is to learn to live with fighting for top 10s, maybe top 5s. If you're super competitive and you think you're going to be able to jump in and just win a bunch of races, you're in for a rude awakening. Now me, I know I'm not that good. I know I do it for fun. I enjoy it because I also have a motion simulator, so I get the most of that. I do enjoy iRacing, but I also have a lot of frustrating experiences. Racing real people online is not like playing a video game. When you race artificial intelligence, it is programmed to give you a race that is organized, which, in all honesty, in my opinion, it's a little bit closer to the real thing in real life than racing people online. This idea that racing real people online is the closest you're going to get to racing in a real stock car series like NASCAR could not be further from the truth. If these people don't race like professional race car drivers, they race like they're in a video game. They don't treat these cars like real cars. They make quote unquote video game moves all the time, dive bombing, making crazy moves, causing wrecks. I can't tell you how many times I've been involved in a wreck because people drive over their heads. And the reason people drive over their heads is because they know I'm not in a real car. That's what you get. I've had some really great races with some really clean racers as well. So I don't want people to take it like I'm being nothing but negative. I'm just being realistic with people. If you see iRacing as an option because there is no really great NASCAR video game, just be prepared to spend money and be prepared to expect an experience that really isn't anything like playing a video game. Sometimes that's good, sometimes not so good. This is why, in spite of spending a year and a half on iRacing, I still want a good NASCAR video game. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we're ever going to get it. Maybe Motorsport Games ends up proving us wrong in a couple years. I don't know. They have to survive this mess before anything else. And so far, they have managed to make every wrong decision you can make. And like I said, releasing this game before it was ready was the worst management decision of all time. They are paying that price now. Not dealing with the public straightforward, just hiding from the public. The only time you hear from them is when they release something like, oh, look, we're about to release another patch. And then they crawl back under wherever they're hiding. Yeah, we've been told by people that Motorsport Games feels terrible about how things have turned out, but that they know that saying something about it isn't enough, that they have to prove themselves. No, you do have to prove yourself, but you also have to say something. You have to say something about this. You can't just hide from this and not ever mention it. Like people are not going to notice the dumpster fire that you released to the public. You have to step forward and show your face and tell people this is what happened, this is why it happened, and this is what I'm doing about it. This is what we are doing about it. And even though you're going to get hit with a ton of negative responses, that's part of business. This is why you get paid the big bucks. When people are throwing eggs and tomatoes, you have to be willing to stand there and take it. You can't just hide from this. And nobody's talking about this, but this is a reflection on you and the company that you don't even step forward to say anything. The only time we've heard them say anything is when they had that investors call meeting. What message does that send to the consumer? It says we don't give a fuck about you. We only care about the investor, appeasing them and making them feel like things aren't as bad as they seem. That's the message you send, whether you intend to or not. So even if you think that a couple of people coming out and saying how bad you feel about this, how everything's worked out, is going to be enough, it's not. October 28th was not that long ago, but it's long enough. It's long enough. This is patch number 4 coming out, and not a peep from anybody at Motorsport Games on social media to address this issue. And most of the time, not always, but most of the time, whenever any major company goes through a crisis like this, because this is a crisis, the CEO or president or someone at the top usually steps forward to take the heat, to explain to people not just what happened and why it happened, but what you are doing about it. What are you doing about it? Patches? Patches aren't going to fix this mess. I was this close to saying, patches, we don't need no stinking patches. So some of you might know what I'm talking about. If you do, let me know in the comments. I will be impressed. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I look forward to your comments later.